a folder, call it Div and Span folder, and then we'll create two separate files. One is div to understand the div tag, then we'll create one more for the span tag. So let's go to brackets, open the div file, we'll copy the boilerplate and we'll call it as div tag. Okay, I will remove all these things. Let's understand what is the purpose of the div tag. Div tags are denoted like this, div, which is nothing but division tags. Okay, they are used to create divisions, means they collect a group of elements together to form something called as a division, okay, or as a group. So div tags are called as division tags, and they help to divide the tags into groups. Okay, and then you can actually apply special formatting onto them. We haven't learned about CSS yet, but when you go to CSS you will see the power of div. The div is basically something like a container. You put all the elements inside it and then you apply some rules on that container, and when you apply that rule on the container, all the elements, that is p tag, h tag, horizontal line, whatever is the tags inside this div tags will get that rule applied. So divs are very popular tags in HTML. So if you take any random page online, right click and view source, you will find that there will be div tags, because div tags are division, they are containers, so you group elements together. Okay, and div act as a container to wrap the elements together. So let me even write that. They act as container to wrap the elements together. Okay, so one thing that you have to remember about div tags are, well, you group elements using div, okay, but you will not write, but you don't write content inside it. Okay, I'll explain you what that means. When we write content, we use p tag, right? You can even write div tag, right? But we don't use div tag to write content. Okay, it's not a problem that you should not write it, but typically division tags are container tags. How you do it? You write p tag and you embed your content inside the p tag. So that's how you basically write the div tags. Okay, you can write n number of tags inside the div tag, and that's basically the collection of elements, or you can call as container, which will form a nice group of elements. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's create a div tag, and inside this we will create h1 tag, and then we will also create p tag, and we'll copy paste the lorem ipsum here. Okay, so let's copy and paste this, and then we paste one more here. Okay, so this is basically a container with a group of elements. It's nothing special in terms of visibility, right? When you view the div tags, there's nothing special about div tags, because you have embedded the p tag, so the new lines are coming. You embedded h1 tag, so the h1 tag is visible, but the main purpose of div tag is to group those elements together. All right, so let's look at span tag. So let's create one more file. So let's open up the span tag and let's do an example of span tag. All right, so the span tag is using this span span, right? Span tag also is like a division tag. So we'll try to understand what is the difference between div tag and a span tag, and all the purpose that we discussed about div tag is actually also applicable for span tag. Span tag also used to group the elements together. Okay, when they both are same, so what is the difference? So let's understand the difference between div and span. So let's write a line here, Then let's write a span tag. We'll write one more span tag here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same content and I'm going to use the div tags. Okay, and let's observe what is going to happen. Then you'll understand what is the difference between a divs and a span tag. Okay, so once you run this, you have two text 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here. 1 and 2 wrap with span and 1 and 2 wrap with div. Okay, so let's open this file. Okay, you can see the difference 1 and 2, that is with the span tag. So this is basically with the div tag, right? So you have to say div, and then here you have to say div. That's easy to read then, right? So the difference is very much visible. Span tag does not add new lines, wherein every div tag that you write will embed a new line. So that's the only difference between span and div. And in most cases you will go with div, right? Basically div will give you a new line so that you have a new block to start with. In case you don't want to have any blocks, you just want to have a running text wherein you don't want to have new lines, then you can go ahead and start using the span tag. Okay, but purpose of div tag and the span tag is basically the same. They both help to group the elements together. Okay, so that's all about div and span, and I'll see you in the next one.